Hi, welcome to Bipolar Boxing Picks. This is Nick. This weekend we got UFC 286, Usman versus Edwards 3. This card's from London, England, so it's an early start. I think it's a 1 p.m. start, 1 p.m. Eastern start for the United States. But not too impressed with the card. It's kind of weak. The prelims are weak, but I'll want to see the Jack Shore fight on the prelims, but that's about it. The main cards, it's halfway decent. I just wish this could have been. They should have had Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev fighting on a main event on a fight night, and it should have been 5 rounds. That's what this card should have been. But they needed it to sell this pay per view because the rest of the card's not that good. So that fight alone makes this card a pay per view, but it is on the weaker side of a pay per view card. But let's get started with Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. I love Vittori here, but I've picked against Dolidze in his last 3 fights. So there's something I'm missing about the guy. I thought he was just this robotic, slow guy who's a very strong wrestler and just a strong guy, period. But man, he's been showing his striking's gotten a lot better, and or maybe I just never saw it before, but like his striking's pretty decent and he's been getting through with that in his last couple of fights. But it's up against, Hermanson. That was just a kind of a weird fight. So I know he got a win against Hermanson, but I don't take that for much. I would pick Hermanson to beat him if they fought again. But Dolidze, the guy's still 12-1, so you got to consider him a prospect. And this catapults his career. If he beats Vittori, then that's 4 wins in a row. Then you get him a win against another top 5 guy, and boom, you're fighting for the title if you're Dolidze. Vittori, on the other hand, Vittori just needs this win. So I just think he's going to be very smart in this fight. He's not going to fall in. He's not going to get taken down in this fight. And if this fight stays standing, I don't think there's any way Dolidze wins a decision. He could get that one-punch knockout. That could always happen in this sport. But I just don't see him getting it against Vittori. I think Vittori is a very smart fighter, and his hands are so much faster than Dolidze. I just see him picking Dolidze apart all night. I don't think Dolidze gets one takedown in this fight, and I think Vittori wins either 30-27 on all cards, or he gets a knockout late in the 3rd round. But so I'm gonna say Vittori by knockout 3rd round. Like I said, if it goes to a decision, I see him just clean sweep all 3 cards 30-27. Next fight up, we got Jennifer Maia versus Casey O'Neill. This is a great fight too. It's a good fight to make, just because of where Casey O'Neill's at in her career. With a fight like this, picking fights like I'm never gonna pick the Maia part in this fight situation. So when you got a young girl coming up who's 9-0, yeah, she hasn't fought anybody as good as Jennifer Maia, and that's where you get value on fighters like this. You have to catch them on their way up. Because once Casey O'Neill has 1 or 2 more fights against girls like Jennifer Maia, like her odds are going to start getting outrageous if she's fighting fighters on Maia's level. And, I understand, like, you have to put her in. This is just the next step up for her. That's all it is. But the odds are like less than 2-1. And I just don't see the UFC putting in Casey O'Neill in there against somebody they think she's going to lose to. You have to give her somebody that's going to, pose some sort of a threat. But Maia is just, the only way she's going to win is if she grinds out a boring decision on the feet where it's kind of just Casey O'Neill. She just kind of outvolumes Casey O'Neill and maybe just makes it an ugly striking match and defends all the takedowns. That's her path to victory. I just don't see it happening. I see Casey O'Neill getting takedowns almost at will. And I even see Jennifer Maia sometimes just accepting that position. And even if she doesn't, I see Casey O'Neill landing a takedown in the 1st round. So that's where I think the fight's going to be over from there, because it's just going to wear on Maia's gas tank. And when you get that first one, the next one becomes easier. So that's how I feel it's going to happen. Even if Maia wins the 1st round on the feet in just ugly striking where there's not many strikes landed, but you give the round to Maia, Casey O'Neill is going to be smart enough. She knows what she's got to do to win. She's got to take Maia down and just control her on the ground. That's what I think she does. I think Casey O'Neill just wins this 30-27 on all cards. I think she wins an easy unanimous decision. And I think there's value on her at like -180 or something like that she is. But I mean, she's 9 years younger. Like these undefeated girls coming up, just give me her until they lose. Just you got to ride these, girl or guy, like these prospects. You got to ride them on their way up when their values sitting at below -200 because you're not gonna be able to get them there for that much longer. So let's go with Casey O'Neill way. Easy decision here. Next fight up, we got my brother's boy Gunnar Nelson. He's been telling me about that guy for like 10 years now. Still waiting for him to, get above prospect level in this sport. But against Brian Barberena, I mean, Gunnar Nelson should just. I only see one way this fight goes down, and that's Gunnar Nelson submits him. Brian Barberena had that 3-fight win streak, but that was a fluke because it was against Darren Weeks, Robbie Lawler, and Matt Brown, I believe. And he went to hell in one of those, either Lawler or Brown. He went to hell and back with one of them. But those are three guys who arguably shouldn't be in the UFC. And but he did put together a 3-fight win streak. And but I mean, he got demolished against Dos Anjos, and that's what I see happening with Gunnar Nelson here. I mean, I don't know that Gunnar Nelson is a better if he can get takedowns as easy as Dos Anjos, but I know once he gets down there, he's a better finisher than Dos Anjos. So I think eventually he just gets this fight to the ground. I think a lot of this fight's gonna be up against the cage, and because Barberena is a strong dude and he's a very tough dude, but toughness don't do anything against submissions. I'm not saying Gunnar Nelson's going to pick him apart on the feet or anything like that because he won't. If this fight stayed standing, Gunnar Nelson will lose a decision very easy. But this fight's going to go to the ground, and I don't care. It doesn't matter how tough you are on the ground. You're going to get put in a bad position if you're going with Gunnar Nelson, and you're going to get submitted because I just don't see Barberena's on his level of fighting anywhere really. I mean, if Gunnar Nelson could win a stand-up decision because Barberena's just not that good anywhere. He doesn't do anything above average, in my opinion, other than his toughness. He's not above average in any other, position of the fight game. But yeah, so Gunnar Nelson, I mean, maybe I worry about his gas tank a little bit. Barberena could outlast him. If Barberena steals a round, like the first round, and Gunnar Nelson trying to work for takedowns and he can't get them, and then he just gets one in the second round and wins that round, but he's gassed in the third, there's a path to victory for Barberena. But path of least resistance is Gunnar Nelson takes him down, and he could get a first-round submission, but I'm going to go with a second-round submission. I think it'll be early in the second round because I think he'll be feeling him out the first round, and he might not get the takedown in the first round, but he'll get it early in the second, and he'll put Barberena in a terrible position, and it's just going to be game over from there. So Gunnar Nelson by submission. That would be my bet because there's no real value on Gunnar Nelson. I think he's like -400. There's no real point in betting him there. So just look for a Gunnar Nelson by submission. You'll probably still have to pay for that too, but I think that's the most likely scenario. Next fight up, oh man, this got fight of the year written all over it. I mean, Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. I love both of these fighters. I don't think I've ever bet against Gaethje in my life, and I've been watching him ever since like a couple of fights before that first fight he had with Luis Firmino there. That really kind of put him on the map. But man, I gotta go against him here. I think Fiziev is just a different animal. That guy scares the shit out of me, and like he's gonna be a problem at 155, and it's new blood for 155. So the UFC knows what they're doing here with this fight. It's a smart matchmaking fight because Justin Gaethje, they're just saying, hey, look, man, if you can't bet the Fiziev guy, like, we're gonna have to find a different lane for you, like, and you're gonna have to get out of the title picture for at least a while, and he probably will never get back there. So this is Gaethje's really his last shot, and the poor guy's got to try and get through Fiziev to do it, but man, I just don't see it happening. Like, Fiziev is just too strong, and Gaethje's just too hittable. He gets hit in all of his fights. He gets rocked bad in all of his fights. You can't do that against a guy like Fiziev. Like, I honestly think Fiziev's going to put him away very easily. And Gagey, like he might land a counter punch here and there, but Fiziov's going to be coming forward and he comes forward to kill. It's just going to be bad for Gagey. I think he's going to get beat up really bad. He could make a good fight out of it because of how tough he is. That's why I say it could be fight of the year, and maybe there's a few times where he lands those counters when Fiziov's teeing off on him, and it kind of backed Fiziov off a little bit. But man, I'm gonna go ahead and go with a first round knockout for Fiziov, even though Gagey's the most probably the most durable guy in the game. But I just see Fiziov making a statement here, and I mean. The only other thing I forgot to mention here is like this is a battle of both these guys can kick really good, and Gagey has that game changer with his calf kicks and or leg kicks, whatever you want to call them. Like he could definitely take Fiziov's legs off, and Fiziov's a kicker himself. So if you can't plant a kick, you definitely can't plant a strike. You're going to be in trouble against Justin Gagey. But man, I just don't see it happening. And but that would be Gagey's best path to victory is those if those leg kicks land, like I said, those are a game changer. And he's one of the best in the sport at it. So he could get that working. That's his best path to victory. And but even then, I mean, I don't see how he wins a decision against Fiziov. I know he likes to outwill people, but unfortunately he's that guy, like he literally likes taking shots to allow people to open themselves up for counters and stuff like that. So he likes to take 3 shots and give one or whatever, but like this is not a guy you want to be doing that with. And he's not going to be able to get away with it, in my opinion. And Fiziov's just going to destroy him. The first time Fiziov hurts him, this isn't going to be like all of Gagey's other fights. And trust me, I'm a huge Gagey fan, but like it's not going to be like his other fights where he gets rocked and then he comes back and he rocks the other guy. Fiziov's going to tee off on him the first time he hurts him, and he's going to stop him. I think a TKO in the first round. That's what I'm gonna go with there. So like that would be a good prop as well. But I think the odds are good enough on Fiziov where you could just take Fiziov as a money line pick because I just don't, like I said, I don't see many paths to victory for poor Justin Gagey. And I mean, you can always have him fight anybody. I mean, hey, if Connor wins against Chandler, maybe he could fight Gagey next. That would be a great setup or whatever if Gagey loses. So Gagey's, as long as he wants to stay in this sport, they're going to keep giving him fights. But man, this is Fiziov's time, and he's just another fighter that I've been watching. He looks so good. I'm riding his train till the wheels fall off. So we'll see what happens there. And I just think that would be a great matchup of styles between him and Islam if he gets a title shot eventually. I just think Fiziov's a great matchup for Islam, whereas, Gagey, I wouldn't want to see that fight. But then we got the title fight here, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. Same pick as I had for this last stupid fight. Give me Usman by easy decision, 50-45. Please, Usman. Just take the fight to the ground. Don't stand up with this guy. Like, you shouldn't be standing up with this guy at all. I know Kamaru Usman, he's been working on his hands and stuff like that, but that first fight, just get the guy to the ground. And he was taking him down at will. They were both, almost gassed at that point. Man, I mean, I haven't gone back and watched that fight since it happened live, but I remember Usman did dominate that fight. And, yeah, Edwards just landed that one stupid kick. But, and I'm sick of the people saying, like, oh, he set that up. He didn't set anything up. He was losing the whole fight. Usman made a mistake. Edwards didn't win that fight. Usman lost it. And you're going to see it in this fight when he wins 5-0. Hopefully. Like, there's a lot of people saying that Usman's affected by the KO loss and all this stuff. Like, he's going to come back. He's going to dominate in the rematch. That's what happens in mostly all these fights, boxing and the UFC. When one guy gets out boxed or gets out struck in the UFC, like for the whole fight, and the other guy lands one lucky punch, in the rematch, the better fighter usually comes out on top because it's very hard to you don't get lucky twice, is pretty much what I'm saying. So I mean, Leon Edwards does have more working at his advantage now. I mean, he's fighting in England and everything like that. But I mean, you're fighting Kamaru Usman coming off a loss. Good luck, buddy. And this is just another thing where like Usman, well, let's just say, I mean, he got a little greedy and like now he's under a lot of pressure. He knows he needs to do whatever he has to do to win. So he's just going to fight a very smart fight. Last fight, maybe he was trying to prove something by standing up with him in that last round or whatever. He's not going to do anything close to that in this fight. He's going to want to get his belt back in decisive fashion. And he's going to want to prove that last fight was a fluke. And to be honest, as a fan, that's the way I look at those fights. If he wins this next fight, this fight against Edwards, 50-45, I do forget about that last loss, and it doesn't matter to me. I know it's on his record and everything, but as a fan, I don't look like, woo, he did lose to Leon Edwards. Like, no. He won, 9 out of 10 rounds against him is what he did. But it's just, once again, it's the same as the last fight. The only path to victory for Leon Edwards is landing, a shot like he did in the first one. And kudos to him for landing that and whatever. But, I'm not gonna bet on that to happen. I'm just gonna bet on Kamaru Usman to win every round. That's the thing. I can't see Edwards winning rounds. Like I just see him but he can last because Usman doesn't stop many people, so he can last and have that chance to knock him out at the end. Mm-hmm. But good luck on that happening twice in a row. I mean, lightning's not going to strike twice here. So just give me Usman by easy decision. Lots of takedowns, lots of grappling in this fight. And, but if this fight doesn't touch the ground, obviously that's an Edwards fight. He's going to win a decision. But, I mean, come on, guys. Just give me Usman by easy decision. Kamaru, just take the guy down at will. Please. Get this guy out of there and just make it an easy night for me. 5 rounds to none, 50-45, unanimous decision. And that's going to be it for the card. Good luck with your picks.